Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something literally game-changing. If you want to take your net worth from absolutely zero and really explode it, well, I've got a bit of a reality check for you. It's not about finding some perfect, miraculous investment, and it's definitely not about buying into a flashy get-rich-quick course. Nope. It's actually about following a super simple, highly actionable sequence of behaviors consistently over time. I'm going to walk you through an exact 5-layer blueprint today, what we call the boring stack, to help you build up to your first $100,000. And listen, if you follow this blueprint, you are setting up a virtually guaranteed mathematical path to financial success.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're covering 5 exact layers today. 1. Know your number. 2. Become hard to replace. 3. Cut spending. 4. Automate. And 5. The power of time. These are totally sequential, meaning they beautifully build right on top of one another to create an unbreakable financial foundation.
To lay the groundwork here, we have to completely shatter a massive myth right out of the gate. Morgan Housel, the author of The Psychology of Money, puts it brilliantly. Building wealth has little to do with your income or investment returns, and lots to do with your savings rate. Now I know, that is not what Wall Street or the day traders on social media want you to hear, right? We're constantly sold this idea that wealth is born from perfectly timing the market or picking that next massive tech stock. But the reality of building your initial wealth is far more grounded than that.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the math. If you save and invest $15,000 a year and earn a super conservative 4.5% return, after 6 years you'd have around $105,000. But where did that money actually come from? To put it into perspective, a massive 85% of that first $100,000 comes purely from your savings. Only 15% is coming from your investment returns. Honestly, even if you were some investing genius pulling in Warren Buffett-level returns of 20% every single year, the vast majority of your first $100K would still come directly from what you save. The boring truth here, your first $100,000 is a savings game. It's not an investing game.
That brings us right to Layer 1. Know your exact number. Establishing this foundational math is where it all starts.
Let's say you want to really push your limits and hit that $100,000 in exactly 1 year. Well, the math dictates that you need to save an aggressive $273 every single day. And actually, if you only count working days, that jumps to nearly $384 a day. Seeing this number is absolutely crucial because it forces you to face reality. Earning $100,000 a year doesn't mean you save $100,000 a year, you know? You've got taxes, rent, and just life in between. Vague goals only produce vague results.
So, for most of us, extending our timeline drastically lowers that daily burden. Looking at a 3-year horizon, your target becomes $91 a day. But push that to a 5-year plan, and suddenly you only need to save a much more manageable $55 per day. You reverse engineer your timeline, figure out the daily or weekly number that actually works for your income, write it down, and put it somewhere you're going to see it every single day.
Let's move to and see how this builds with Layer 2, become hard to replace.
Now that we have our target number, we have to fund it. And the most direct way to do that is by increasing our income, by becoming undeniably valuable in the job market. We live in the era of AI, where repetitive tasks are instantly automated. So your goal is to shift your skill set away from automatable tasks and toward irreplaceable human skills. If you're the top brain surgeon in the country, there are only a handful of people who can do what you do. So you command a massive premium. But you don't have to be a surgeon. Trade skills like being an electrician, a plumber, or an HVAC tech, those cannot be outsourced to a robot right now. Those are highly defensible skills. Even in corporate roles, excellent, empathetic human communication is becoming super rare. Since AI often uses repetitive, robotic phrasing, a genuine human connection really stands out. It's simple supply and demand. Less supply of your valuable skill means higher demand and higher income for you.
So, we've supercharged the offense by earning more. Now let's tackle Layer 3, cut unnecessary spending. Playing defense is just as important, because every single dollar you don't spend is an opportunity to save and invest. I have 3 easy, incredibly practical cost-cutting frameworks that will instantly keep more money in your pocket. The first is the 24-hour rule. This might be the single most effective tool to kill emotional spending. Here's how it works. For any non-essential purchase over $100, you institute a mandatory 24-hour waiting period before you buy it. Now, for you, that number could be $50 or $75, whatever feels like a stretch purchase. You see, most of our spending isn't planned. It's a late-night, emotional Amazon binge. This 24-hour gap gives your logical brain time to catch up. In most cases, a day later, you'll find you don't even want the item anymore.
The second tip is making easy alternative swaps. First, identify a costly habit, like grabbing coffee out every single morning. Next, implement a cheaper swap, like brewing it at home. But here is the absolutely crucial part. You have to actually bank the difference. If you go out for lunch, maybe you get the sandwich, but intentionally skip the overpriced fountain drink and the bag of chips. These microscopic decisions compound massively over a few years.
So, the crucial point is applying this exact same intentionality to your big three expenses: housing, cars, and food. This is where the vast majority of your money goes. Ask yourself the hard questions. Could I get a roommate when my lease is up? Could I live 15 minutes further away to save $500 a month on rent? Could I run my car through an insurance comparison tool and save $150 a month? And let me be clear, this is not about being cheap. There is a profound difference between being cheap and being deliberate with your money.
Which leads us perfectly into layer 4, automate your financial habits, taking human temptation out of the equation completely. I absolutely love this insight from James Clear in his book Atomic Habits. He points out that relying on daily motivation is just a losing game. Willpower depletes. Instead, he says we want to design our environment so that the right behavior just happens automatically. As humans, we face dozens of financial decisions every single day. If you leave it to your own devices to manually transfer money at the end of the month, trust me, you will find a reason to spend it instead. The solution here is to pay yourself first. Research shows automatic savers hit their targets far more consistently than manual savers. Set this up right through your employer's payroll to split your direct deposit, or just set up a recurring transfer with your bank. If you make $2,000 every 2 weeks, set it so $400 is automatically swept right into your investment account the morning you get paid. You can't spend what you never see in your checking account, right?
And this brilliantly illustrates our final section, Layer 5, the hidden power of time.
You see, this final layer isn't a measurable skill or a life hack at all. It's simply the psychological endurance to stay the course. Everything we've talked about completely falls apart if you quit after 3 months. And people do, because building wealth offers zero instant feedback. Think about golf. You step up, hit a terrible shot, and the ball flies into the woods immediately. Instant, painful feedback. Wealth building is the exact opposite. You can do everything right, cut expenses, automate, save perfectly for a whole year, and barely see the needle move on your net worth.
You have to manage your expectations by understanding the true wealth horizon. In year 1, there's practically no visible progress. By year 3, you might still feel like you're waiting for the magic to happen. And honestly, this is exactly when the temptation to quit is highest. But if you trust the math, it's typically between year 4 and year 7 that the compounding really takes over and you suddenly cross that $100,000 threshold.
Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ask yourself right now. The next 4 to 7 years of your life, they're going to pass no matter what you do. That time is going to vanish. When it does, will you be sitting on a fully funded $100,000 net worth because you committed to the boring stack today? Or will you still be at zero, wondering where all the time and money went? The boring path works. It just requires discipline. Commit to it today, and I promise your future self will thank you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep building.